Crikey, let me tell you about a little champion, a puppy named Rusty. From the moment he tumbled into the world, Rusty was a bundle of energy and joy, the kind of pup who could brighten even the cloudiest day. His fur was as golden as the morning sun, and his tail wagged so hard it looked like it might take off. He was a bundle of golden fur with paws too big for his body and eyes that could melt your heart. Those big floppy paws would trip him up as he chased butterflies, but he never seemed to mind. His eyes sparkled with curiosity, always searching for the next bit of mischief or fun. Rusty lived with the Miller family, Mum, Dad, and 2 kids, Lily and Tom, who loved him to bits. From the very first day, he became part of their family, snuggling into their laps and hearts. The kids would race home from school just to see who could hug him first. He was the king of their backyard, always ready for adventure and the heart of their home. Whether he was digging holes, chasing after birds, or simply rolling in the grass, Rusty made every day feel like a holiday. Every morning he'd wake them with sloppy kisses and follow them everywhere, a golden shadow. No matter where the family went, kitchen, garden, or even the bathroom, Rusty was never far behind, always eager to be part of the action. Dad threw the red ball, Mum snuck him cheese, and the kids rolled in the grass with him for hours. Rusty's favourite game was fetch, but he also loved sneaking treats and cuddling up for story time at night. Rusty's days were filled with sunshine, cuddles, and endless games of fetch. He'd race across the lawn, ears flapping, tongue lolling, and always return with a wagging tail and a proud grin, ready to go again. He felt safe, loved, and completely at home, never knowing what it meant to be alone. At night he'd curl up at the foot of Lily's bed, dreaming of all the adventures he'd had and the ones still to come. But life was about to throw him into an adventure he never expected. Little did Rusty know the world outside his cozy home was waiting, full of surprises, challenges, and new friends just around the corner. One sunny afternoon, the Millers took Rusty to a massive park on the edge of town. Off-leash, Rusty chased a blue butterfly, darting further and further from his family. The butterfly led him to the edge of the woods, and suddenly the laughter and picnic blanket were gone. He barked, expecting a reply, but only the wind answered. Confused and alone, he tried to sniff his way back, but the bush was a maze of strange scents. Every direction looked the same, just endless green and brown. The park that had seemed so fun now felt huge and empty. Rusty was lost, a tiny pup in a vast, unfamiliar world. The sun was sinking, and fear crept in. As darkness fell, fear gripped Rusty. The bush was full of strange sounds and shadows. He missed his family and curled up, shivering beneath a tree, loneliness pressing in. But then he remembered Dad calling him a brave boy and Tom's tug-of-war games. A spark of courage flickered. He couldn't just give up. He stood, determined to find his way home, even if he was scared. Each step was hard, but he pressed on, thinking of Lily's gentle hands and Mum's soft voice. The fear was still there, but so was hope. Rusty pushed through the undergrowth, his adventure truly begun. He was small, but his heart was mighty. He would not let the darkness win. Hunger hit Rusty first. No puppy food, just strange berries and grass. His stomach rumbled as he sniffed around, searching for anything familiar. But the wild offered only mysteries. Every leaf and berry was a puzzle, and he had to be careful. The forest was alive with scents, but none reminded him of home or the meals he once knew. A kookaburra's laugh echoed through the trees, sharp and sudden, startling Rusty as he considered tasting a bright red berry. The warning was clear, and he learned quickly what not to eat. The wild had its own rules, and every sound seemed to carry a lesson. Rusty realized he'd have to listen closely if he wanted to stay safe. Then came the rain, soaking him to the bone as he huddled under a rocky ledge. The cold water dripped down his fur, making him shiver. The forest, once inviting, now felt harsh and unwelcoming. Rusty curled up tightly, wishing for a warm bed and a gentle hand to comfort him. But out here, he had only himself. The bush was full of wild animals, wombats, kangaroos, and more. None of them like the pets he knew. Their movements were unpredictable, their eyes wary. Some watched him from a distance, others disappeared into the undergrowth before he could get close. Rusty felt both curious and cautious, knowing he was the outsider here. He kept his distance, learning to be quiet and careful. Every rustle in the bushes made his ears perk up, and he learned to move silently, blending into the shadows. The wild demanded patience and respect, and Rusty was determined to adapt, even if it meant being alone. The world was enormous, every hill revealing more trees, every scent a false hope. The forest seemed endless, stretching far beyond what Rusty could see. Each step took him deeper into the unknown, and sometimes he wondered if he'd ever find his way out. But he pressed on, driven by hope and the memory of home. Sometimes he'd catch a whiff of home, only for it to vanish, leaving him more lost. The wind played tricks on his nose, carrying scents that reminded him of happier times. Each disappointment stung, but Rusty refused to give up. He kept searching, believing that somewhere out there, something familiar was waiting for him. The journey was tough for such a little bloke. Thorns scratched his paws and tangled roots tripped him up. Hunger and exhaustion weighed him down, but Rusty's spirit stayed strong. Every challenge made him a little braver, a little wiser, as he learned to trust his instincts and keep moving forward. But Rusty pressed on, learning the wild's harsh lessons. Each day brought new obstacles, but also new discoveries. He found hidden streams to drink from and safe places to rest. The wild was unforgiving, but it was also full of wonder, and Rusty was determined to survive. He was determined to survive, no matter how tough things got. With every step, Rusty grew stronger, braver, and more at home in the wild unknown. Despite hunger and exhaustion, Rusty never gave up. Memories of his family fueled him. Lily's hugs, Tom's laughter, Mum's gentle voice. He learned to drink from creeks, find shelter, and scavenge for scraps left by others. He became a survivor, a tough little bushman, not just a pampered pup. Some days hope flickered, but it never went out. Even when despair crept in, he remembered he was a miller, a battler. He kept his senses sharp, always listening and sniffing for signs of home. The world was big, but his heart was bigger. Rusty's journey was far from over, but he refused to quit. He was determined to find his way back. After days of wandering, Rusty stumbled onto a quiet country road, exhausted and weak. Cars zoomed by, but finally a dusty ute stopped and out stepped Dave, a kind stranger. Dave spoke gently, offering water and sausage, giving Rusty space to trust him. Rusty, starving, crept forward and ate, hope flickering back to life. Dave spotted Rusty's collar tag and read his name and number. "Rusty, let's get you home, mate," Dave said with a smile. He made the call, and the miller's joy was immediate. Rusty wagged his tail, sensing rescue at last. Dave wrapped him in a blanket and promised to take him home. For the first time in ages, Rusty felt safe. Dave drove Rusty home, the car humming softly as the puppy gazed out the window, his nose pressed against the glass, watching the world rush by. The journey felt different this time. Rusty could sense something special waiting for him. As they pulled into the driveway, the millers rushed out, their faces lighting up with pure joy. Tears and laughter filled the air, echoing through the quiet neighborhood. It was a moment they'd all dreamed of, finally coming true. Rusty leapt into their arms, his tail wagging furiously as he was showered with hugs, kisses, and happy yaps. The children squealed with delight, and even the grown-ups couldn't hold back their emotions. He darted around the garden, rediscovering his favorite red ball and the soft blue blanket he'd missed so much. Every corner of the yard seemed to welcome him back, as if nothing had changed. Rusty curled up on his blanket, letting out a contented sigh. He knew deep down that he was truly home at last, surrounded by the people who loved him most. A warm bath washed away the dust and worries of his long journey, and a big meal filled his belly, making him feel safe and cared for once again. That night, Rusty slept curled up between Lily and Tom, their gentle hands resting on his fur. He was surrounded by love, warmth, and the soft sounds of his family breathing peacefully. Rusty was no longer just a puppy. He was a true adventurer, braver and wiser than before. He wore his new bandana with pride, ready for whatever life might bring next. He'd learned that the world was big and sometimes scary, filled with unknown places and unexpected challenges. But he also discovered that the world was full of kindness, friendly faces, helping hands, and hearts willing to care for a lost puppy. Even when hope seemed lost and his paws were tired, Rusty never gave up. He kept moving forward, trusting that things would get better. Courage, he realized, wasn't about never being afraid. It was about facing fear and moving forward anyway. With his family by his side, he felt braver than ever. Rusty was the luckiest and bravest puppy in the world, and his greatest adventure was just beginning.